Good morning, good day, good evening, good everything. Alright, so I'm back at the long range yard. My trusty old Audi standing there with my targets being set up as we speak. And then the setup for today. So this is quite simple. I've got a camera in the front, I've got a camera at the target, my cylinders on the side, the gun, crony, setup, everything is ready to rumble, getting everything ready. So this is the gun. Alright, so most of you know the FX Impact by now. This is an old Mark 1, but I've added the power plenum and I've also added the dual flow system as well as the pin probe. So it's a little bit pumped out. It's basically a Mark 2 in every sense of the way. On top I've got my Helix Element scope there. Very nice clear glass. And I've actually marked my scope turret with the correct distances for the day, which is quite surprising. Right. On the bottom I've got a normal, just a rail and a bipod. One of these fancy days I probably will get a better bipod than that one, but it is working currently for my scenario. Our range today is quite simple. I'm going to put up the 50-meter marker around about there, and then nicely laid out on the range, that's the 100-meter marker right there. And the sun is coming up. The wind is a slight left to righter, but it's changing, but it's a very slight wind at this stage. But as you can see, I've got no protection against the wind, so I'm going to hope and pray that it stays down so I can do a proper analysis for you. So what are we shooting today? Today we're going to focus first and foremost on the H&N 30 grain slugs, and I've got a tin in 217 and a tin in 218. These are the 30 grainers. And I'm going to do two types of testing today. The first thing is I'm going to look at speeds all the way up to 50 meters to make sure that I've got the best accuracy possible and at what speed. And then I'm going to take them out to 100 meters and shoot some groupings for you. Lovely. 30 grainers. What a lot of fun. I think the manufacturers are a little bit, how can I say, cautious by saying that the slug's maximum distance is 100 meters. I think after today you'll agree that, boy, you can push them far beyond 100 meters. So let's start. The can itself doesn't give away a lot of information unless you turn it to the back. On the back is a nice big sticker telling you exactly how much, what grain, what size, 217, 218. The nice thing about H&N is they've got these awesome little slug test kits that you can buy with different weights and sizes, so it makes it easier and a lot cheaper for you. You don't have to buy everything like I did. Time for some shooting. Alright, cameras are rolling. Setting up the crony. Crony is ready, target's ready. Alright, so we're going to shoot the H&N 217s in 30 grain first. I've got my target set up at 50 meters. I've got my scope at, the gun is zeroed at 40 meters. So I just need to click according to my click chart where 50 is supposed to be. I'm going to hit a couple of warm-up shots or sighter shots, and then I'm going to let rip. So I'm going to shoot from the power setting 1, my power wheel, all the way to max. And I'm looking for the most consistent grouping out there. Not necessarily the best, the most consistent. Alright, so without any further ado, let's jump into this. Alright, power setting 1, let's rip it. The groupings weren't as tight as I would have liked them. Having said that, I've got a very slight breeze from left to right, but it should not affect these slugs at the speeds. Alright, time for me to reload. 30 grainers, 218. don't think I can see that far, but that was some decent groupings with slugs at 50 meters running at the different speeds. Time to go and measure up and see which one of these two 218 or 217 shot the best groupings and at what speed, and then I'm going to take them out to 100 meters.
The 50 meters just totally screwed with my mind. Back at the range at 40 meters, I shot the most amazing groupings at 930, 935 feet per second. Thus, looking at 924, just opened up a little bit. Excellent grouping at 958 feet per second and an awesome grouping at 981. Overall, across the board, really impressive. But I think I'm going to stick to the slightly slower speed. I'm going to shoot the power setting 4 and 5 at 100 meters. Looking at the 218s, I see exactly the same happening. A 17mm grouping at power setting 4, slightly pushed out on power setting 5, but the wind really picked up on me there, and a decently grouping there at max. But that one flyer up on top, I actually needed to count that one in. So let's stick to power setting 4 and 5.
After examining the 50 meter speeds and most accurate groupings, power wheel 4 and 5 on my gun, I'll give you guys the actual speed just now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a few sighters, make sure my gun is 100% at 100 meters, and then I'm going to shoot two 10-shot groups with each. So let's get into this. Okay, interesting. The wind pushed me about a half a MRAD, about 5 centimeters there in front at 100 meters, from left to right. Grouping's a little bit up and downish, but it can be because the wind is at a 45-degree angle. So depending on how hard the wind pushes, it either drops them a little bit or pushes them a little bit up. All right, time to go on to the 218s. Right, I pulled one or two there, I could feel it, didn't feel stable on the shots, but overall that's a very good grouping. Let's go and have a look.
The 30 grainers in 217 had a royal battle as to at what speed are they actually the best. At 923 feet per second, a 1.6 inch grouping, and at 964 feet per second, 2.1 inch grouping. So in this scenario, the 923 was the optimal speed for these slugs. I think I can still do better. I think these guys can group under an inch. So I'll go play around a little bit more with the speed and let's see what I can achieve. Beep. Time for the 218s. It was an even tighter battle with the 218s with 10mm separating the grouping. That is 0.4 of an inch, gentlemen and lady. 0.4 of an inch. That is exceptional. But I think they can still group better. I'm going to try my best to figure out the correct speed even further and get these groupings down to 1 inch. I'm sure they can shoot them at 1 inch. So, final conclusion, the optimal speed for these 13 grainers is plus minus 935 feet per second to 945 feet per second. That is where I got the best indoor groupings, and I got very close to that outdoors in the slight wind. Well, that's all for me. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.
That's all, folks.